All right, let's dive into something pretty incredible today. We're talking about a hidden force that's quietly running the show in our lives, at work, in school, everywhere. It's a psychological phenomenon that can shape success or failure before anyone even does anything. It's called the Pygmalion effect.
So, let me just ask you this right off the bat. Can what you believe about someone, your private expectations, can that actually change their reality? Can it literally alter how they perform and what they end up achieving? It sounds a little out there, right? Well, let's find out.
Okay, so first things first. To really get this, we need to know exactly what we're talking about. What is the Pygmalion effect?
At its very core, the idea is so simple, but so profound. Just think of it like this. When you have higher expectations for someone, they tend to perform better. It's not just a passive thought in your head. It's like an active fuel that helps boost their success.
You'll also hear it called the Rosenthal effect. And don't worry, we'll get to why in just a minute. But the real key here is this phrase, self-fulfilling prophecy. Basically, what we expect from other people can actually help create the very results we were expecting all along.
And this isn't some simple one-time thing. No, it's a powerful loop that just keeps feeding itself. It all starts quietly, inside our own heads, with a simple belief about someone else. But then, that belief changes how we act towards them. Maybe we give them more encouragement, maybe less. That in turn impacts how they see themselves. And once their self-belief changes, it drives their actions, which, and here's the kicker, ends up confirming what we believed in the first place. The loop is complete and ready to start all over again.
Okay, I know that all sounds a bit theoretical. So let's make it real. Let's see how this actually plays out with a quick story, a tale of two athletes.
So I want you to put yourself in this person's shoes. Imagine you're a basketball coach, first day of practice. Two brand new players walk onto your court. Let's call them Chris and Joe.
Now, as you're watching them warm up, your brain is doing what brains do, making instant, snap judgments. Chris, for whatever reason, he just has the look. He reminds you of some pro you admire. But Joe, something about him reminds you of that one annoying kid from high school gym class. And just like that, without you even realizing it, you've set your expectations. Step one of the loop is already done.
So, now your hidden beliefs start controlling your actions. When Chris has the ball, you're totally engaged. You're coaching him, pushing him, giving him great tips. You even invest extra time with him. But when Joe is playing, you kind of tune him out. You don't give him much useful feedback, and when he messes up, you feel that little flash of irritation. See what's happening? You're investing in one and totally neglecting the other.
And right here, this is where two completely different realities get created. Chris feels that investment. He feels valued. So he starts thinking, hey, I must be pretty good at this. He loves coming to practice. He gives it his all. But Joe, he feels your impatience. He internalizes that feeling, starts to doubt himself, and the fun of the game just evaporates. His effort craters, and pretty soon he's skipping training altogether.
And at the end of the season, what does the coach think? He looks at high-achieving Chris and underperforming Joe, and he pats himself on the back thinking, I knew it from the start. My instincts are always right. The prophecy came true, and the coach has absolutely no clue he was the one who wrote it.
Now you might be thinking, okay, that's a good story, but is any of this real? Is there any actual science to back this up? Well, the answer is absolutely. Let's look at the research that turned this from a cool idea into a proven fact.
Yeah, this is not just some coaching parable. It is a well-documented phenomenon that was rigorously tested by a psychologist at Harvard named Robert Rosenthal. His work was huge because he figured out how to actually measure the impact of our expectations out in the real world.
So Rosenthal ran two huge experiments that really put this effect on the map. The first one, and you're not going to believe this, actually involved rats in a maze. The second, and maybe the most famous one, took place in an elementary school.
So let's start with the rats. Yes, really, rats. Researchers were given rats and told to coach them through a maze. Half of the coaches were told their rats were basically super intelligent, specially bred to be maze wizards. The other half, they were told their rats were dull and kind of dumb. But here's the thing. All the rats were exactly the same. They were just normal lab rats. The result was mind-blowing. The smart rats did way, way better in the maze. The human's expectation actually changed the animal's performance.
So then he took this idea from the lab into a real classroom.
At the beginning of the school year, he told teachers that based on a new test, certain students, who were chosen completely at random, had extraordinary potential for growth. By the end of the year, the results were just stunning. Those randomly labeled talented kids showed a way bigger increase in their IQ scores than their classmates. The teacher's expectations had literally become reality.
Okay, so we've had the story, we've had the science. What's the big takeaway here? What does this all really mean for us in our daily lives?
You know, Robert Rosenthal, the researcher who did all this work, he summed it up perfectly himself. He basically said that when we expect certain things from people, we can't help but act in ways that make that thing more likely to actually happen. It's a simple, powerful, and direct cause and effect.
So what this really boils down to is that your expectations aren't just passive guesses about the future. They don't just forecast what's going to happen. They are an active ingredient in creating what's going to happen, for better or for worse.
And that leaves us with one final, and I think pretty important question. Now that you know this, now that you know you hold this kind of power, as a manager, a teacher, a parent, a friend, how will you consciously choose to use your expectations? How will you use them not just to see potential in other people, but to actively help them bring it to life? How will you lift others up